What if I told you the name Africa might not be African at all? Some say it came from the Romans, others from ancient Berbers. But there are scrolls, older than empire, whispering another story, one they tried to erase. Throughout time, this vast land carried many names: Alkebulan, Ifriqiya, Ethiopia, Libya. Each name born from tongues that tried to describe something too large, too alive, to fit in one word. But today, we call it Africa. How did that happen? And what did we lose when we forgot the names that came before? Ask most people where the name Africa comes from, and you'll meet silence. It's a silence carved by time and rewritten by conquest. When colonizers drew their maps, they renamed rivers, mountains, and kingdoms. But they also rewrote the name of the entire continent, wrapping it in their own meaning. Many grew up believing Africa was just a label, not a story. But it is a story, one that holds memory, identity, and spirit. Because what we call ourselves shapes how we see ourselves and how the world sees us. Let's journey back long before the Roman Empire, before the Greeks drew lines on parchment. In ancient Egypt, the land to the south was called Alkebulan, the mother of mankind, or the Garden of Eden. It was a name of reverence, not possession. Later, the Greeks used the word Afrique, meaning without cold. To them, Africa was the warm, sun-kissed world beyond the sea, a place of mystery and abundance. Then came the Romans, who conquered the lands near Carthage and met a Berber tribe known as the Afri. They called their new province Africa Terra, land of the Afri. It was never meant to name an entire continent, only a corner of the north. But names have a way of spreading. The word Africa traveled across languages, across seas, until it became the blanket name we use today. In the Arab world, the name Ifriqiya emerged, describing what we now call Tunisia and eastern Algeria. From there, explorers, missionaries, and mapmakers adopted it, carrying fragments of a deeper past. But not everyone agrees with that version. Some African scholars argue that Africa may have older roots, born not in Latin, but in the language of the Nile. They point to an Egyptian phrase, Afru-Ika, meaning the opening to the Ka, or the place of the soul. If true, Africa wouldn't mean land of the Afri, but land of spiritual birth. Imagine that, a name that once spoke of spirit and awakening, now reduced to a label on a map. Others trace it to the Phoenicians, who used Afar, meaning dust, describing the sun-baked earth, or to Hebrew, where Aphra means dust of the ground. Each theory paints the continent in a different light, as soil, as sun, as soul. Names evolve, meanings shift, but together, they reveal something powerful, that Africa has always been more than geography. It's a spiritual idea, an identity that no empire could contain.
Africa.
So, what's the truth? Most historians agree. The Roman version, Africa Terra, land of the Afri tribe, is the most documented origin. But history is rarely singular. And in the silence between written lines, the older voices of Africa still speak. Maybe Africa came from conquerors who sought to name what they claimed. Or maybe it came from our ancestors, describing not a territory, but a living spirit, the place where humanity began. Both truths can live together, because Africa has always been both conquered and unconquerable, renamed yet unbroken. In true cinematic form, nothing can be touched or said or read by a team of women. When we say Africa today, we speak a word that carries thousands of years of human memory. From desert sand to river valleys, from kingdoms of gold to cities of steel. It's a reminder that the continent's strength lies not in one name, but in many. Alkebulan, Ifriqiya, Ethiopia, Africa. Every syllable a story, every sound a heartbeat. So maybe the true origin of the name Africa isn't a single word in a book, but a feeling that never died. Africa's name, like its people, carries the weight of many origins: Berber, Roman, Egyptian, Phoenician, and spiritual. Each adds a thread to the tapestry, reminding us that names are more than sounds. They're stories of belonging. So perhaps the real question isn't where did the name come from, but who gets to tell it now? Now that you know the hidden story of Africa's name, what do you believe it truly means? Share your thoughts in the comments and join me again for more stories they never told you. Because the past still speaks if you listen closely. Until next time, I'm the storyteller, and this, my child, is Tribes and Tales Africa.